Welcome to my weekly match summary, where every week I take a deck from the meta that you guys voted for here on YouTube and run 50 matches on the standard ladder in best of one. And this week, Izzet Pirates won the vote, and I think it looks like a really fun deck, and it's just got a whole bunch of cards from the Lost Cavern of Ixalan, which is always fun. Got the Spyglass Siren as a 1/1 flyer for one that spawns a map token. Goblin Tomb Raider, which is a 1/2 pirate that gets +1/+0 in haste as long as you control an artifact, like the map token that comes from Spyglass. We've got Sticky Fingers here, which whenever the creature deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token, and then when that enchanted creature dies, you draw a card, and it gives the creature menace, so it's good for pushing damage through. We've got Voltage Surge is the one piece of removal in the deck, and this deals 2 damage to a creature, or you can sacrifice an artifact when the spell is cast to deal 4 damage instead. If they do end up countering or something like that, you do have to sacrifice the artifact before the spell resolves, so it can be a little bit of a risky play, but we've seen less counter spells because of the Cavern of Souls. And we've got Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel, which is a 2/1 flash pirate with flying that whenever it deals combat damage, you put a chorus counter on it, and you draw a card and discard a card, and if there are 4 or more chorus counters, then you get to play the discarded card for free. Staunch Crewmate, which helps you find your pirates as well as artifacts in your deck. It looks at the top 4. We've got 4 copies of the Subterranean Schooner, which helps you dig through, find additional threats. Excuse me. As well, it helps you dig through your deck by drawing lands if you're going to top deck a land, and then also it explores, so it helps build up the power of your creatures if it's a non-land card. And then we've got Captain Storm Cosmium Raider. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target pirate you control. And so like if you have a Spyglass Siren, it comes in with a map token, it creates the +1/+1 trigger here. You can trigger it by playing the Schooner, etc., right? Kite Sail Larcenist, I guess, is another form of removal, but it's not hard removal. You get to turn an artifact or creature of yours into a treasure token if you want to change like a map token into a treasure token to be able to ramp a little bit. Or you can use it to remove your opponent's biggest threat and turn it into a treasure. What's kind of cool about this over like the Brutal Cathar is that when they remove the Larcenist, it doesn't trigger another ETB because it isn't exiled and then comes back. It was a treasure token, so it was always on the battlefield. So it's something to keep in mind is that it does work a little bit differently than Cathar. You don't have to be as worried about targeting creatures with really good enter the battlefield effects. And then flying 2/3 flyer with ward 1 for 3 is just a good threat. And then Breeches is really what's making this whole deck shine. So if you can turn 1 pirate, turn 2 pirate, and play Breeches on 3, you get to create a treasure token, make something not block. If you're attacking with 3 pirates, you get to do all 3, which when you play Breeches, you've tapped out all of your mana, so it works out nicely. You don't need to exile the top card of your library. You just create a treasure token, make something not block, and then the following turn, you get to do all 3 and helps you find additional threats. And then Roaming Throne has been, I'm pretty impressed with this. So in the best of 3 list that I covered before the best of 1 list, the Roaming Thrones were at 4. And I liked the idea of bringing him down to 2. After playing the deck a little bit, I'm curious about Roaming Thrones and if there should be more of them, because one of the combos that I did not see was Malcolm. So when you have Malcolm, the draw a card then discard a card triggers twice, and the chorus counters also go up by 2. So it's not uncommon for you flash this out on turn 2, turn 3 it gets a token, turn 4 it gets a token, maybe an additional one. But I've found that when it has 2 chorus counters, you can trigger it up to 4, and your opponent isn't expecting you to be able to play free cards. And so that was a nice little combo. The Roaming Throne with Breeches makes it trigger additional times as well, but you only get to choose 1. So even if you have like 2 pirates, it triggers 4 times, but you only get to choose 3, right? So like if you have 1, you get to choose 2. So it does synergize with Breeches a little bit, but also a little bit not. Captain Storm plus the Roaming Throne can get absolutely silly because like Spyglass Siren creates 2 map tokens and you get 2 +1/+1 counters. And then Kite Sail Larcenist becomes a double removal. You get to turn 2 things on both sides of the board into treasure tokens. So that one's been pretty excellent. And looking at the deck, I think that the question was like, well, it's not faster than mono red, right? And it's not going bigger than domain. So where does it really fit in the meta? And I'll save that for the match summary at the end. So I'll showcase some of my favorite matches from the 50, and then at the end kind of go over what the deck was doing, like how did it perform on the ladder, what were its best and worst matchups. So please enjoy. All right, we're on the play. We've got Tomb Raider into Staunch, into Larcenist, into Throne, like acceptable. Kind of sad not to have the artifact synergies for the Tomb Raider. We're just attacking with a 1/2. Alright. Well, Spyglass Siren turns on our 2/2. But I think Captain Storm has more upside. So I think we're going to just play Larcenist next turn. We're up against Domain. Can hit artifacts or creatures, so not enchantments. Next turn is probably removal. Let's see, Captain Storm so far is only triggering off of playing Roaming Throne anyway. But I think this just gets nuked by removal, leyline, etc., right? So it's not really doing anything. I think I'll just Larcenist here. And submit 0. I guess I could turn Crewmate into a treasure and do 1 less damage that way, and I get a treasure. Probably not great. Okay, Topiary Stomper. Could have done the Captain Storm and then Larcenist here. There's a possibility that they turn on Topiary Stomper. Here, I could actually turn the Crewmate. So if they do the invasion next turn, they can attack with the Topiary Stomper, but then we can block it with Roaming Throne. Or I could just try to get in for max damage. It depends on if we think they have a depopulate next turn. Or, Sunfall. This ramps them. I don't like the idea of ramping them very much. So I think I'm just going to go with the Roaming Throne. As we can play it pre-combat to give the Tomb Raider the 1 more damage. Alright. Sunfall? Show me what you got. Okay, Leyline gets rid of Roaming Throne. It's fine. We don't have 2 things to hit with Larcenist anyway. So we have no artifacts. I could turn. I guess I could turn Staunch Crewmate into an artifact. It would be the same amount of damage though. Doesn't feel particularly good. Unless does it trigger Captain Storm? I don't think it does. It's a battlefield. Kind of feel like doing the Larcenist on the Stomper and then playing out Captain Storm with no value. Feel particularly good. They didn't play Sunfall. If they play Sunfall, then it's just GG, right? For 5, put him to 5. What's the upside of playing Larcenist then, right? Just gets wiped out. Maybe we should try to rebuild instead of ramping them to like an Atraxa. Save this for Atraxa. There's a couple of different ways to go about here. I think I'm gonna try playing around Sunfall. Wait, whoa. Invasion of Zendikar allowed them to develop the board. Interesting that they decided to scoop there, but we'll take it. Alright, we've got Spyglass Siren into Staunch Crewmate, hopefully into Breeches, and the dream comes true, but we have a tap land. We'll see. Might get stuck on 2 and have to do a double Staunch. Okay. Captain Storm is interesting. Dang it. Okay, so next turn we have 2 mana. No Breeches. Guess I'll play a Schooner then. Against Esper Midrange, huh? Or Esper Control. It's another damn Esper Control match, man. Just gonna, like, I won't scoop on the first board wipe, but I think on the second one I'm just out. Okay, this looks like Legends. Okay. Interesting. Oh, right. I can't play the Schooner because of the secluded courtyard in the Cavern of Souls. I always do that. I could flash in Malcolm. Could just play the Captain Storm here to set up the roaming throne. We draw a land. Malcolm's better early, though. I like playing Captain Storm when I can get immediate value out of it. I think I'll go for playing the Malcolm. So they play like a Rafine, though, then I'm in trouble. Rafine on 3 would be bad here. Gix is acceptable. Albeit card draw is not great for us. Alright. Damn it. It's probably Schooner, pop the map token. At least Subterranean Schooner blocks relatively well. I think this already has enough of a target on its back, so we'll go here. Yes, I could Tomb Raider. Maybe I should be drawing off of Malcolm first and then making those decisions. Right, Roaming Throne plus Staunch is a lot of rebuild, but I don't think I like it over the Captain. Your go. I foresee removal in Schooner's future. Go for the throat doesn't kill it, right? Because it's an artifact? Gix versus Dinnik. Disturb comes back as a flyer. Lifelink is kind of a pain in the butt to race, though. I feel like card draw is never a good thing to let your opponent have for too long. Okay. Interesting. So we got 4 untapped mana. Could be a Wandering Emperor. I think I'm going to go for the Roaming Throne. We could Roaming Throne and Crew. We're not going to block Dinnik. It's a 4-point swing. So it's probably better to crew with like the Staunch Crewmate. In that case, I don't need to play anything. And this is what I mean, like Roaming Throne on Malcolm though gets an additional counter. So it's probably worth playing pre-combat. I've convinced myself. Do we want to leave it back to block Dinnik? And I think we do. Another Schooner? I guess it triggers the Captain Storm twice. And then if we explore and just, yeah, I think I'll keep it. Who needs Breeches? Ah. Looks like I'm gonna be happy I kept my Schooner, huh? I think I already played a land. All right, I'm gonna say we have enough, and they're not going to Sunfall me. I think we're up against Esper Legends with the Wedding Announcements and Virtues. I don't think I need the refuel from Staunch. I think we can do it with what we've got here. Okay, can we Esper mid? I feel like it's done. This deck has done well against Esper Midrange. This one's feels okay. Deep Cavern Bat. Okay. Goodbye, Captain Storm. That's too bad because now Deep Cavern Bat can block Malcolm. Okay, Malcolm's dead anyway. Fine. Oh, double removal off of Kite Sail. Oh, buddy. And then they just have a 2/2. Okay, so if I do Kite Sail, I don't get Captain. Because it doesn't leave the battlefield, it becomes a treasure. Still seems fine. I guess I could actually let them. Let them keep the Deep Cavern Bat. It trades with the Spyglass Siren. It's a lifelinker though, man. I'm always nervous about the lifelinkers. Then they can't trade my board as well. I think I'm gonna do that. We'll see. This could be wrong. Okay. Just take it. Just take it. It's fine. It's fine. Now, I'm losing the trigger off of the schooner. This would be better against a board wipe. I think I'm just going to go for the captain here. We're all in. So let's say they have removal for Larcenist. And they get the 2/3 and the 2/2 back. But then I get to pump. Yeah. Take that, Esper Legends. Alright, we're on the play. We've got Staunch Crewmate into Larcenist into the Roaming Throne. I mean, I guess we're just never gonna see a turn 3 Breeches. Alright, I guess we could lead up with red. It's a little less, like, less information. Alright, we're getting some mono red. You're late. You're late, Spyglass. Now we could do the Spyglass Siren plus the Sticky Fingers. Still, I'm gonna go look for a turn 3 Breeches. Alright. Okay, so we could ramp them with the Larcenist to 3 mana, potentially 4. I could also just play Breeches out, but Breeches doesn't get anything. That feels kind of bad. Especially because Swift Spear with Monstrous Rage, like, Breeches can't block. So I think I'm going to go for removing their Swift Spear. If they, like, land drop and Lightning Strike the Larcenist, I feel like that's okay. And then if they leave the Larcenist, I guess Roaming Throne would have given me a double removal. Could have waited to play this first and then played Larcenist. Okay. I can't block either because of Monstrous Rage. Now I can play Breeches to block the adversary. Okay. So we get Breeches to trigger, and we can also play the Spyglass Siren. Or I could Roaming Throne. I guess Roaming Throne lets me block the Swift Spear. Let's see, I could also Sticky Fingers. So I think there's a chance that Breeches just gets lightning struck, right? So I do think maybe we just go for the Roaming Throne play. Like, I could Sticky Fingers and then play Roaming Throne. Seems okay. So the ward's protecting it from getting lightning struck. So if they have a Witchstalker's Frenzy, I guess the Roaming Throne looks a little worse. also go for the Otawara bounce. Godric trigger celebration would be kind of bad here. Oh, they can do the bloodthirsty adversary to get back, play with fire if they wanted to. Okay. A lot of damage here, but I'm going to take this opportunity to be able to kill Swift Spear. Okay. 7. Hopefully now they just are like, don't have enough gas to get through. Because Breeches should be able to block the bloodthirsty adversary, even through a monstrous rage. Then we can't cast the Otawara though. I guess we could map token into it. I do think I want to keep the Otawara. It's a delicate procedure here. So I get two treasure tokens. Oh, we can use the treasure to cast Otawara. That's pretty tempting. We need 4. I could probably Spyglass and pop a map token. I can't. That wasn't fast enough. Okay, so waits 2. So since we have the legendary Breeches, I can play this but can't pop a map token. This will cost 3. Gives me another blocker. All right. Bouncing Bloodthirsty Adversary is not ideal. Okay. Monstrous Rage would be pretty sweet. Excellent. I think we can afford to take 2 damage here. It's a little, I mean, it depends on whether or not we just want to chump block with the Spyglass Siren. But it's like they can get back the direct damage, right? So they could get back a play with fire. And if we go to 5, the play with fire would put us to 3, and then they just need to hit a lightning strike. So I think I am going to chump block it. Okay. Haha, I'm on a red down. Let's go. Okay, we've got Tomb Raider into Staunch Crewmate into Larcenist. Voltage Surge as removal. Very good. Maybe we even crewmate into her Breeches. Ooh, red. Alright, so now we can Sticky Fingers. 3. They might have removal. If they have removal, that sucks. I'm not even sure I want to put Sticky Fingers on Tomb Raider. and then use the treasure on Staunch. So I guess I'll just attack. Could this be a mirror match? Dang. Okay, well. Kite-Style Larcenist feels pretty good to just remove everything that they're playing. I don't know what I'm up against with blue-red. I don't think Wraths, really. Could take the Malcolm in case we get stuck on lands. Actually, yeah, because Sticky Fingers plus Malcolm later seems decent. We have the 2 Larcenists already. The fact it's revealed is a little bit like womp womp. Inti, okay. That seems like a good target for Voltage Surge. Didn't hit the land, but I don't... Inti makes me scared. Okay. Sentinel's also scary. I could turn Staunch Crewmate into a treasure. Attack with the 2 Tomb Raiders. Nah, this is getting too complicated. Let's go with removing their threats. This one seems like a new one. I don't know, Temur with Inti and Sentinel? They're Inti, okay. Okay, they could have instant speed removal or Kite-Style Larcenist, which means they have a 3/4 blocker. And I think maybe what I do here is play around that. They'd have to have something that could get around the ward, though. Sticky Fingers on Staunch Crewmate's kind of tempting. Or on Tomb Raider. Don't think I want to turn Inti into a treasure. Okay, then they have to multiple block. Okay. Fading Hope. Fading Hope would do it. Okay, so my Staunch Crewmate is toast. Or they can multiple block the Tomb Raider. Really? Okay. Get a card draw off of that. I think that's right. Like, Sentinel feels like a win condition. Just keep it a treasure as much as I can. Ogurk. Whenever a land is put into the graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 counter. So that goes with the Inti. Remove 3 +1/+1s from this, return it to owner's hand. When it leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target lands from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. So they're going to pump Inti. Discard Otawara. Okay. Kind of running out of options here. They could swing this around. Alchem, we're gonna put him to 2. So we have a 2-turn clock. Their clock is faster, though, because they're hitting for 9 this turn. Uh-oh. This is a fun deck. I don't... Okay, removal for Borgamos. Ooh, Breeches is lethal. Breeches off the top is lethal, right? Okay. Because we could make a treasure token and make it so that they can't block. Alright. Okay, I think that does it too. I'll see. Ha! Weird Temur deck down. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. As you can see here, we didn't quite make it into Mythic with the 50 games, although we got close. It was off by like 2 or 3 wins, maybe at the top here, 4 wins or so. So you know, performing around 50-50 on high, at the high end of Diamond feels like the deck is at least okay, right? I mean, like tier 2, right? 27-3, and I can say after playing it, you do well against the aggro matchups and the mid-range matchups. So I felt like against Esper mid-range it felt good. Against mono white it felt good. Against the Azorius control decks it felt absolutely miserable. And same goes for like Domain. If they're running like Sunfall on 5 and Disruption, the deck is slower than mono red. But it has the ability to disrupt the faster decks. Did play 1 game against Celestia Enchantments, and that felt good. And so it kind of feels like a different version of White. Instead of playing like Hopeful Initiate into Thalia into Adeline, you're kind of going for Spyglass Siren or Goblin Tomb Raider into Staunch into Breeches, right? And Breeches wins games for sure. Like the ability to ramp and disrupt your opponent's blockers feels really good, and I liked how the deck functioned for the most part. I do feel like I maybe want a little bit more towards like the manlands or something for the control matchup, because that did feel so miserable. But even then, I don't know if the answer is manlands, because the blue-red manland, the Restless Spire, is not that much of a threat, right? And so like having more of these I don't think is the solution, and the Schooner I don't think Schooner's good against the Sunfall. It does give you a little bit of that like rebuild. I tried really hard to play around the Wraths, and it's just still didn't do it. So I think that's one of the weaknesses of the deck. But anything that is a positive win rate against mono red feels good. It is the most common matchup on the ladder. Azorius Control was the second, and then mono white the third. So as far as like the rest of it, though, it's just kind of small stuff. Didn't really play against that much Golgari. One match against Orsov. One match against mono blue tempo. Which I was surprised to still see like floating around with the Cavern of Souls. But anyway, remember to hit like and subscribe for more near daily Magic the Gathering content, and I'll be placing a poll up on YouTube for the next deck list that you'd like to see for the next 50 matches. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy holiday. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. This year has been fantastic, and I can't wait to see what the next year brings in. So take care, everyone, and maybe I'll see you on the ladder.